The teen gunman who shot dead 17 people at a Florida high school is believed to have set off the fire alarms to cause chaos and draw students out into the halls before he opened fire. Nikolas Cruz, 19, stormed Marjory's Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland on Wednesday afternoon armed with an assault rifle. Broward Sheriff Scott Israel said Cruz was a former student at the school but had been expelled for unknown disciplinary reasons last year. Cruz was armed with at least one AR-15 rifle, had multiple magazines and smoke grenades when he stormed the school wearing a gas mask, according to the sheriff. Investigators are now looking into whether Cruz may have pulled the fire alarm to draw people into halls so he could get a higher death toll. A number of students have said they thought they heard the fire alarm right before the first shots were fired. The school had already had a fire drill earlier that day, leaving many of the students confused. Authorities have already started dissecting his social media accounts and reported that some of things he had been posting was very disturbing. Traumatized students said that once they heard reports of a mass shooting at the school they knew it would be Cruz, while one teacher said he had been identified as a potential threat to his classmates last year. Matthew Walker, a 17-year-old student at the school, told For TV that all his classmates knew it was going to be him. A lot of people were saying it was going to be him, he said. A lot of kids threw jokes around saying that he was going to be the one to shoot up the school. It turns out that everyone predicted it. That's crazy. He was going class to class just shooting at random kids, he said. Everything he posts, on social media, is about weapons. It's sick. Math teacher Jim Garr, who taught Cruz last year, told the Miami Herald, "We were told last year that he wasn't allowed on campus with a backpack on him. There were problems with him last year threatening students and I guess he was asked to leave campus." Another student took to social media claiming Cruz had mental health issues that were ignored by all the adults. "He literally had an Instagram where he posted pictures of animals he killed gruesomely and he physically assaulted one of my friends once," the student added. Police said the gunman started firing before he entered the school building and left behind a deadly trail. "12 of the people shot dead were found dead inside the school building, 2 more were killed just outside the school and another in a nearby street. Two other people died later after being rushed to hospital." Gunfire rang out at 2:25 p.m. shortly before dismissal time, sparking panic as students barricaded themselves into their classrooms. Others were seen running out of the building with their hands in their hair as police and SWAT teams swarmed the school. Those fleeing the school, in single file, each threw their backpack into a large pile and huddled together under trees across the street. At around 4 p.m., 2 hours after the shooter first opened fire, police and SWAT teams took him into custody. police initially described him as a student and a former member of the U.S. Army Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps program. Aerial footage showed him wearing a maroon or burgundy-colored sweatshirt as he was put in the back of a cruiser by half a dozen officers. Meanwhile, horrifying video filmed from inside a classroom captured the moment the shooter, who was wearing a gas mask, burst in and began shooting at his fellow students as they screamed in terror. The students were spotted sitting or lying on the classroom floor, trying to avoid being hit, as rapid gunfire was heard nearby. One girl's hysterical screams were suddenly cut off during the shocking clip. Desperate parents and relatives of students still locked down in the high school rushed to the scene to find out if their children were among the injured. One mother, Michelle, whose daughter was inside, said there are at least 20 students and teachers still barricaded in the school buildings. The unnamed mom said her daughter sent her a text that said, "There's been a shooting in school." And it's for real. Speaking outside the police perimeter, she said, "She was texting me up until about 4 minutes ago and now she's not responding and I'm getting nervous." Last she texted me she was in a building from across where the shooting was at. I'm on pins and needles because she isn't responding to me now. CBS Miami reporter Rick Folbaum said he was exchanging messages with a child still inside, who is hiding in a closet. "I'm continuing to text with a student, a young girl who I know well, who is in the building right now, who told me that she heard a loud noise and what sounded like gunfire, 3 shots, he said. She texted, "All of a sudden there was a really loud noise. People are crying the closet." A father named Cesar Figueroa told CBS, "My daughter is with a friend and is trapped in a closet. She is afraid to talk out loud. It's like a war zone here with cops, machine guns, helicopters." "The FBI is here, everyone is here. I told my daughter not to call me because I don't want anyone to hear her voice." Photographs taken by students inside the school showed them crouching behind piles of chairs and hiding behind desks. The shooter reportedly fled the building when police arrived, mixing in with other students leaving the school. Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School is in Parkland, Florida's safest city last year. Video showed students being loaded into ambulances or even treated on the ground at the scene. Coral Springs police have advised people to avoid the neighborhood while the active shooter situation is underway. President Donald Trump has tweeted about the shooting to offer his condolences to the victims. "My prayers and condolences to the families of the victims of the terrible Florida shooting." "No child, teacher or anyone else should ever feel unsafe in an American school," he wrote. He added that he'd spoken with Florida Governor Rick Scott and "We are working closely with law enforcement on the terrible Florida school shooting." White House Deputy Press Secretary Lindsay Walters said in a statement, "The president has been made aware of the school shooting in Florida. We are monitoring the situation. Our thoughts and prayers are with those affected." Police asked parents to tell children still inside to remain calm and barricaded until police come to their room. A student, who was not identified, but claims to know Cruz, told WSVN he was obsessed with guns and showed him pictures of them on his phone. "He's been a troubled kid and he's always had a certain amount of issues going on. He shot guns because he felt it gave him, I guess, an exhilarating feeling." He added that Cruz made him nervous. "I stayed clear of him most of the time. My time in alternate school, I did not want to be with him at all because I didn't want to cause any conflict with him because of the impression he gave off." The incident comes just a few weeks after a 15-year-old boy opened fire at his rural Kentucky high school, killing 2 and injuring more than 24 others.